I'm switching in the recording. Unfortunately, our product owner Mark can't join us as he's on merchant presentation today, but he will be given the recording of today's demo meeting, so he will watch it a little bit later. So for today, we have pretty tough schedule for you. So we will show you bug fixes we've made during this week and all the preparation for the upcoming 1.1.0 MSI release, which gonna appear shortly. And we agreed the policy on the independent releases, because this is gonna be a new stuff for Magenta. And the MSI will be pioneering project, which would be released independently out of the main Magenta project. We will provide additional documentation and policy how these independent releases are supported and what the support policy for independent releases for core bundle extensions, which we call CBEs, and other big projects like Page Builder gonna to follow the same approach as MSI does. Our agenda for today, at the beginning, Slava will show you the date on the bug fixes we did, and he will demonstrate you also the regression for the distance-based algorithm, because it's a pretty big chunk of work, and there are a lot of testing scenarios. There are a lot of support with both offline and online distance providers, and too many options need to be tested and need to be keep updated just to make sure that we don't bring any issues to this functionality. Then we will switch to the store pickup activities, and because store pickup is getting a new buzzword in Magenta. In Magenta environment, because everybody asking about the store pickup, when it's gonna be ready, when it's gonna be brought to the market. So Dmitry will make a presentation of all the activities he's currently working on, and also he will engage you to join his activities. And then I will show also some small update on store pickup we have. And tell a little bit more about when it's going to be started, how you can jump in to the store pickup activities, because many people already start working on store pickup, on integration of MSI with point of sale application, so that to be consistent and prevent you from migrating all the data from your solution to the Magenta core solution, which MSI is in nearest future. I will provide more insight on how it's gonna be implemented and when it's gonna be released, maybe. And then we will switch to our guest, to Alexei from Firebeer Studio, who will make a presentation of the extension they implemented, and this extension provides an ability of source, import, and export. This extension extends MSI import export, so that Alexei will make a demonstration, also join, and also will share their insight and experience regarding how it was working with MSI service layer, and how it was like working with MSI comparing with the previous inventory solution we had in Magenta before. So I'm stop talking, and I'm muting myself, and now Slava will make update for all we did for this week.
Hello everyone, let me share my screen. And I'll show you some small fixes in UI, what we have done on this week. And first fix, it's about stock grid. When we have on the stock many sources assigned, For this, I have created some 9 additional sources, and they assign it to the stock, our test stock. And in the grid, it's made so in this column assigned source that if we have more than 5 sources assigned, tooltip is made that on the grid we see only 5 of them, and here when we hover on sources assigned, we have all other sources displayed additionally. It's small fix, but I think it's convenient, especially when we have many sources assigned to the stock. So another thing, it's a similar approach, but it's for the products grids. And when we have products which have also inventory on many different sources, more than 5. So here we are, I have a simple product with 10 sources assigned to it. And let me show you how it's look now on product grid. After I have all assignment and I save my product, we have here column quantity per source. And also the same approach here, that we have only 5 sources what is displayed in the grid itself, and such a pop-up where we may see all other sources and quantity on source. Also, I will show you that, for example, if we change quantity on, let it be source 9, and I put many 9s there and save. So let's see in our tooltip that source 9 was not present in the grid, but in this pop-up we may see that source 9, the quantities are updated properly. It's convenient small implementation. And another thing what also was fixed on this week's, it's CSS for order. Not actually for order, but for source selection algorithm. So I have already created some order. And to see this, we need to go to source selection algorithm by clicking Ship button. And we have some not very properly headers here. We had no padding here, so it's fixed. Now it looks much better, I think. So this small fixes what I have.
I just, sorry for interruption, Slava. Yes, I just wanted to say that the source of inspiration for us for the first fix with the tooltip was Bartek from Strix Agency, who actually showed us how the grids looks like for his first project, which Strix launched like 2 months ago. So they were early adopters, and they had a setup like more than 100 sources assigned to a single stock, and he showed us how the grid looks like in this case, and it was definitely not the best UI experience. So that after we see that, we added this ticket, and but time flies, and actually just now we found an ability to fix it, because we had more priority, more tickets with a high priority higher in the backlog, so that we just fix it now. But we like nothing is forgotten, so we all the catches and all the improvements we see go to our backlog, and when we have time, we definitely spend it on improving this. So, Slava, please proceed with further updates.
Yeah, and by the way, all the fixes are made by Stepan, and he is contributor for all this free PR, what I demonstrate now. And another things, it's small update that we do some testing of source selection algorithm. So in our on-hit tabs, we have 11 scenarios dedicated to two types of source selection algorithm: source priority and distance-based algorithm. As already actually told on last demo, that we are testing different scenario, different provider where we may choose Google Map provider, or we may choose offline calculation provider. When we need to download additional tables with longitude of the places for country, also there are different modes of computation, like driving, walking, bicycling. Unfortunately, bicycling is not so common, and Google doesn't know a lot about how to drive bicycle without special roads. So this is quite tricky computation mode. And so far during our testing, we have not found any problem. So our algorithm working well. I think that's all from me for today. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, and a small update. So we already have this distance-based algorithm merged into 2.3 develop branch. So then you can already deploy it in your testing environment and get your hand dirty, playing around with it. And if you find any issues, or you can consider some improvements to be added to this algorithm, just let us know. So it's already it's already in our stable branch. We already did all the test green on our test environment. So don't hesitate to start playing around with algorithm, make some experiment with it, and taking into account that we did not release it yet, we can introduce the latest changes if that's gonna be like improved. So thank you, Slava, for your update. And the next one gonna be Dmytro Poperechniy, who will show you some updates on store pickup, on multi-shipping. So Dima, please proceed sharing your screen. And
okay, let me start. So what I'm gonna tell today is
the audio quality is very bad. Is it just for me, or?
not just for you. I believe for everybody.
Yeah, you're like a robot, Dmytro.
Maybe he is.
Maybe he is. Resistance is futile.
So let's proceed with the Turing testing first.
Right. Dmytro, tweak something on your end and let us know. If you can't, make it better, then we'll just proceed.
hello, do you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, much better. So let me proceed. I want to share with you that Magento is currently working on, our team is currently working on implementing large number of addresses on one-page checkout. So to achieve this goal, we decided to change the functionality, and it is also close to store pickup. Let me show what we have, the markups. So we decided not to display all the shipping addresses at once, but to lazy load them, to display just default shipping address of the customer on the shipping section on one-page checkout. Or if a customer doesn't have a default address, then we display the lastly added address to his account. And so to search or to change addresses, we display a modal window with the select functionality based on UI select to search for addresses and to lazy load them. Currently, I'm working on a prototype. That's what I have. So this is, I display default address here.
Dima, you are not sharing screen.
Yeah.
Just a small hint, you are not sharing screen.
Desktop share.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't see me before?
No.
Oh, sorry, guys.
So let's start from the top.
Yeah, from the top. So let me show the markups first, and then what I have. So it was decided to display not all shipping addresses at once, but to display only default address or the lastly added shipping address. And then we can either add address or change addresses. By clicking it, it goes a window, modal window with the UI select component. That search, we decided to search by zip, state, or city, but not by all attributes. Anyway, maybe later it will be, this search algorithm will be modified and will search by all attributes, custom attributes either. So that's it. So customer search and click on ship. It will speed up our checkout process and the rendering of all addresses, because there are customers with a huge amount of addresses. So that's what let me show what I have. It's just a prototype. So here is default address or lastly added address is displayed in this section with custom attributes. The customer has add new address as it is currently on checkout now, or customer can change the address. And here a modal window displays with my custom attribute that extends UI select attribute. Currently, I'm working on a search algorithm to display, it is not ready yet, to display search results. We decided to search by zip, state, or city, not by all attributes. Maybe later we will add this functionality and extend it to search by custom attributes. Maybe we will implement new indexer, but for now, just like on mockups Igor provided, we'll display, we'll search by city, zip, and state. So that's it. This is for one-page checkout. Once it will be done, multiple shipping checkout will be also extended and written to this UI select with the search functionality. And yeah, so store pickup is also pretty close to to this markups, to what I'm doing, but it will use it will use its own template. So I guess that's it.
Dmytro, can you hear me?
Yeah.
just for my understanding, did this touch inventory behavior? So you're showing shipping address lookup, but my understanding that this behavior and this behavior change I don't expect you changed anything in inventory behavior, right? Or did you?
No.
No.
Actually, the main idea that we would have almost the same UI for the store pickup, because in store pickup we also will show addresses of different sources from where the order could be fulfilled. So we would literally use the same JavaScript components, and probably will have slightly different HTML templates for rendering, but the main UI logic gonna be pretty the same. So currently, Dmytro mostly working on the UI part. That's why we want to reuse this part on the store pickup functionality, and also we want to engage developers, especially UI developers who'd like to jump in and help Dmytro, and help actually not just Dmytro but the Magento to develop this, to ping Dmitry or me, and we can find a way how you can contribute on this track as well.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and it's going to be implemented to Magento 2.3.2, right? I mean, one page count and multi-shipping checkout. Okay, I'm stop sharing then, if you have any questions.
I believe so far so good. I hope that we would have more questions in future.
If I may, actually.
Yeah, please proceed.
So about the custom addresses and how you can identify them in Magento, have you guys considered adding any unique identifiers to custom addresses? Because at the moment you can only identify the default shipping and default billing addresses. The other addresses the customers add, they actually do not have any unique identifiers, so you cannot target them. So I'm talking from the perspective of importing and exporting addresses.
So currently we will display, we will filter the addresses based on the lastly added addresses to the custom address. Maybe it's just an idea to filter them, but more oftenly used addresses if customer has orders. I don't know.
But from importing and exporting perspective, Magento usually don't expose the internal identity. Like, for example, in the product, we don't expose the product ID, we just expose the product SKU. And in this case, we have the natural identity. And we don't have really natural identity for addresses. So actually, as for me, address is a really good example of the value object, which identity is described by the combination of all the attributes.
So there will be no unique attribute you can actually refer to when calling for an address.
So currently we did not want to introduce this artificial identity. Maybe it would be added when we would, like, in far future, when we will introduce, for example, UUI IDs, but for all entities. But this is not going to happen in the nearest future for sure.
Sure, got it. Thanks.
So probably the next slot is mine, at least according to the agenda which I composed before the meeting. And let me share my screen. This is not what I wanted to show. So actually, I wanted to open store pickup and a small update on the store pickup. I just wanted to propose a ticket. We started, we actually investigated it, or we started to investigate it during this week. And the main idea of this ticket, maybe some contributors would like to join us on this activity as well. So the main idea is how to build this search, especially for zip codes. Because in case of city and state, we can proceed with the exact match, and that will definitely work. But in case of zip codes, exact match would not give us good results, because people searching by zip code usually try to find the nearby location when they can grab some goods they are ordering. And this is especially true for the store pickup functionality, and this is less true for the shipping addresses, which Dmitry shown. Probably in that case, the exact match will also work. But regarding the store pickup search, we should not just provide the list of the stores located on the exact specified zip code, but also the nearby zip codes. And we can proceed with that because we can reuse our database of the zip code with geocoordinate, which we use for distance-based algorithm. So this is another point how we can reuse the data we downloaded, we retrieve from the service which provides all the geocoordinates, so latitude and longitude for zip codes in the country, and that's why we can calculate the distance from the specified zip code, and we can consider this zip code specified by customer as a center of radius, and provide like a radius. We can specify the radius like 10 miles, maybe 5 miles, maybe less, and find all other zip codes which get into this circle, and show on the result page all these sources as it is shown currently on my mockup. So we started to investigate whether the MySQL queries, which will calculate distances and will find all the zip code addresses which are nearby to the specified zip code addresses. So whether these MySQL queries are fast enough to process them in runtime, just on demand, or do we need to have some pre-calculated values, maybe? So we are currently started to investigate this this search for which will be definitely need for the store pickup activity. And if you guys have like a good knowledge of MySQL, or you are interested in jumping in pretty sophisticated and interesting investigation activities, please let me know. I will share with you more details. Currently, me started to work on this, and I also keep in touch with Ricardo Tempesta, who is not currently on this meeting to work on this functionality. That was a small update regarding the store pickup. I thought that it would be interesting for those who are eager to know about how our store pickup will work and what we will support there. So that's all regarding store pickup for now. And now let's proceed to our next presenter, to Alexei from Firebeard Studio, who will make a presentation of the extension they recently released, and he will shed some light on MSI import export functionality, Firebeard import export inventory functionality, and also share with you his insight on how the MSI whether it's good or not to work with from the standpoint of third-party developer. So the stage is yours, Alexei.
Thanks. So as you guys may know, I represent Firebase Improved Import and Export extension, which highlights you can see right here. So basically, we improve native Magento to import and export procedures by introducing the schedules, allowing to import and export more entities, including Magento to B2B extension entities such as companies, shared catalogs, quotes, negotiable quotes, requisition list, and so on. We have added an MSI support recently, so we have added all the improved import and export extension features to product quantity, import and export, and we have also allowed our customers to import and export the warehouses. Now, the extension supports multiple file formats, category, price, and attribute mapping, import and export process scheduling. The extension is fully open code and operational fully from the Magento administration panel. As for the workflow, you can see it here, and you can see it at the extension product page. So this is it for quick introduction for improved import and export. Now for MSI, the source quantity. We have actually made all the extension features available for the source quantity, so customers can import and export the quantities of the products per warehouses using different file formats on schedule. So maybe they can integrate with their CRM systems or their ERP systems for further convenience. And if they store actual warehouses in their CRM systems, they can also synchronize every information about the warehouses with Magento 2. So as for the flow sample, I composed the sample Google Sheet table where every attribute described and sample value given, and added a new line with MSI new warehouse. Actually, there are 4 warehouses at my Magento instance, and I will be importing the 5th one just to show you how the import extension works. So the extension goes like this. We add a new import job. We name it, for example, MSI test. We select the entity we want to import, and we are referring to stock sources, which are actually the warehouses as we come up with it. Next, we select the behavior and specify the link to the Google Sheets. And let the import job validate the file. And we run the job. So the new warehouse should be already added to our screen. And we can actually see it right here. That's it. For warehouses, we have gathered all the attributes used in the MSI extension. The unique identifier for warehouses is the source code. Next, we have name, if the warehouse enabled, and basically all the attributes a single warehouse can have. Now, for the roadmap and actually importing quantity per product and per warehouse, we want to somehow incorporate this entity into the products entity. So when customers are importing or exporting products, they can actually upload different quantities per different warehouses without using 2 separate jobs. So we want to let our customers use a single job, and while synchronizing the products with any CRM or ERP systems to synchronize the quantities per warehouse of the MSI. So from the development standpoint, I think we've managed to come up with the MSI add-on for improved import in about a week. So it was like I spent a single day working with MSI in the Magento backend, understanding how it works and what we can actually get importing fast, because MSI was trending as hell in the November and in December. So we just had to come up with something and just gather traffic and let the customer something to work with. And I've composed this very guide. You can actually see the link in the Slack, and described every attribute, composed the table with sample data, sample attributes, which values customers are expected to fill in the actual tables they are importing. And that's pretty much it. So for my overall experience with MSI, it's been great, and I'm hoping that we will do even more with MSI and import and export. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Alex, for really interesting presentation. I believe that Alex Lezun would have some question as he's leading import-export, asynchronous import-export project. So that I believe that he may have some question. Alex, are you still with us?
I'm still here, but currently not really. I will think about it, and if I have a question, I'll come back.
Yeah, so Alexei is in MSI Slack channel, so you can ping him directly. So
yeah, sure. Feel free to ping me.
Deal.
Okay, so actually Alexei was our last presenter, and I don't know, maybe someone else have some updates for us, and so you can still bring it to today's meeting and raise this question. If not, maybe Max Proinke. So you asked about the locales and the translation in MSI. Maybe you have something to tell us on that way? No? Okay. So probably Max. Oh.
I have a question.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, you said you would contact Paul to talk about the source level reservation.
Actually, Paul today is on the meeting, so you can ask him directly.
All right. Because you said that he would make a presentation at some point, so I don't know.
So, Paul, are you with us? So you see that people require you to make a presentation and for how you make the source level reservation.
Thanks.
In any case, so I see that Paul is online, but I'm not sure whether he's still on his PC. So I will definitely, right after this meeting, I will ping Paul and ask him to bring this presentation on the next MSI demo meeting, which is gonna be in a week. And I also really want to see his presentation on how they do the source level reservation, because source level reservation getting more and more trendy, and a lot of people with the source level reservation, they want to introduce kind of a cache layer and pre-save the source selection algorithm, and so not to run it all the time dynamically and spend the resources on it. So that just after the order is placed, run the source selection algorithm and make this source level reservation. So this is definitely pretty interesting stuff to be presented, and I will approach Tom right after this meeting and ask him to make a presentation on the next week.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So for the in-store pickup, you've mentioned that we're going to be doing some calculations using geocodes or the database of zip codes to see how close they are.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to support being able to filter by within so many 25 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles? If people are getting a list of all of the stores nearby
Mm-hmm.
that they can go pick up from, will they be able to filter how far?
Yep. Really good question. So I believe that we will end up with something like introducing new inventory configuration value, which could be specified by maybe in the admin panel of Magento, like a radius by which we will sort for zip codes. Or maybe it's going to be just a configuration value on the level of DI configuration. So probably we need to hear Mark's opinion on that question, what's more appropriate in this case. So whether it's going to be kind of developer experience or whether it's going to be merchant experience to specify this parameter. But yes, we'll definitely introduce this radius.
Cool.
So looks like Max Poronka still can't manage his mic to work.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello, guys. Yeah, so thank you for giving me a chance to speak. Yeah, in terms of MSI project, I just joined you guys and I started working on CSV, kind of small task, but with this small task, I would love to kind of start contributing because previously I didn't have a chance to work on MSI, just some documentations, presentations, and YouTube videos. So I didn't get a chance to properly work with this project. And I'm sure that next time I will have something like more developer-ish to present for the next meeting.
Sure. And even like a small task that's gonna be a giant leap for Magento merchants who want to support MSI in different languages. That I believe that would be really valuable.
Yes.
Okay, so looks like this is pretty much all. Thank you guys for your time spent. Thank you guys for your presentation, and see you guys in a week. And I will definitely make everything possible to make Paul to present his source level reservation during the next demo meeting. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.